is still where she was. She hasn't moved. You can see she's breathing nice and regularly there. But now Paul's giving a beautiful look at those rosettes. Absolutely magnificent. Geometric in shape to some extent, but also randomly positioned. And of course every single leopard slightly different from the next. The perfect camouflage, yellows, oranges and blacks. And then of course you've got, say, leopards like Tabumgumi, which have got those little dots in between the rosettes, rather similar to a jaguar. And I believe there was another leopard seen in between me leaving and coming back for this cycle who also had those spots, which is interesting to know. You can actually see up by the neck area, you can see she has got proper spots as opposed to rosettes, which is quite normal. And then one of the other ways that we would look at leopard markings to identify them, other than the obvious sort of, an unusual marking or a notch out of the ear or a scar, would actually be the sort of the bib around the chest area, which we can't see from here, but those are all fairly unique as well. So you can often look at the bib line, but the most commonly used way to identify almost said zebra, I'm getting confused with spots and stripes. The most commonly used way to identify these leopards is that whisker line. So the top row of spots above the whiskers on either side, they've normally got sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little spots just above the whisker line, and there are quite detailed records of each of those individuals, and that's the main way that we identify them. And one of the reasons for that is because obviously in areas where leopards are not quite as habituated as they are here, is there are organisations, and the lodges do it as well, put out camera traps and things to just try and get an idea of who is around. Oops, she's twitching her tail. I think she's fast asleep, like a dog twitching her legs. I actually saw a dog wagging its tail in its sleep the other day. That was quite cute. So anyway, so they put lots of camera traps up, and leopards often come and investigate strange things, particularly eye height to leopards. So when they come close, they trigger the camera trap, and you often get a nice picture of their face close up. And even if they're just walking by left or right, you normally get a good visual of the face. So those records are kept on file, and then they can be compared. There's even software that was being developed for tigers. I don't know if it ever actually got to Africa in the end for use with leopards and things, whereby you could take a photograph of an animal and, a bit like you can do on the internet, you take a picture and search that picture and it'll bring back similar images. It's the same idea. You put in this picture of a tiger into some database and it would analyse the stripe patterns and give you back some possibilities of which individual it would be. Must actually go and see if that software ever got developed and brought over to Africa, because that would be very interesting.